So we'll start. Good morning, everyone. I hope everyone hears me well. If not, please use the chat that you have on YouTube. If there is any issue with the connection, with the sound or with the video, please tell me so that I can quickly adjust. So welcome for this course, which is called Introduction to Artificial Intelligence. So I will start with a brief of organization details today, and then we'll have two lectures, one which is more about the motivation behind artificial intelligence, and the other one which is in which we'll talk about intelligent agents and how to define them. Okay? But let's start with the organization details. So first of all, I would like to tell you about my goals and philosophy for this course. Okay. So my philosophy is, or one of my main mission, I would say, is for you really to understand the landscape of artificial intelligence. So you will quickly realize that this is a broad scientific field, and there are many things that we can put under this name, and we'll try to define some of them so that at the end of this course you will have at least a good overview of what exists in artificial intelligence and what is not artificial intelligence as well. Also, one of my second goals will be for you to be able to write from scratch and debug some artificial intelligence algorithms. And so this is basically what we'll explore during some of the lectures, but what you will do during the projects. So in terms of content, so I could say that this course is like a modernized version of what is known as good old-fashioned artificial intelligence, which goes from the 50s up to now, to 2020. So we'll not focus only on the most recent methods, we'll also cover some older ones. So the content will mix well-established algorithms for building intelligent agents, but also will include, I will try to present you or to introduce you to materials that are really recent and new from research. So basically not older than 5 years old. Also, one of my goal will be for you to understand some of the open questions that we have in this field. So this is a field which is rapidly evolving, and there are still many things that we cannot even start describing and that we cannot solve. So having a fully functioning artificial intelligence is far from something which is done, and you will realize that there are many open questions that needs answers before we arrive there. And finally, I hope that this course, even though this year it will be given online, will be practical in the sense that you will have course projects, and we hope that they will be fun and challenging for you, and that they will help you understand the materials that we'll cover. So the team behind this course is myself, so I will give all the theoretical lectures on YouTube. There will be around 10 or 11 of them. Then the exercise sessions will be given by Antoine, and these exercise sessions will be given as YouTube videos that will be posted every week. They will not be live. Antoine will just record itself when he solves some exercises. And finally, for the programming projects, so the two leaders for them are Arnaud and Pascal. And so they will define the projects and they will grade them. So if you have any questions about the course, about the projects, about the exercises, or anything else related to the course, please contact us, preferably using this email that you see on the slide. This is an email which basically forwards your message to all of us, and so we are all aware of the questions that you ask us. And also we can see if other people, like for example, if Antoine has replied already to your question, and therefore I don't have to do it myself. Okay. So the materials this year, because of the health, because of the pandemic and the constraints that we have on the classrooms, make it such that we cannot welcome you all at once in the same room. And so therefore, instead of having groups that would attend every 1 other week, I decided to do the entire course online. So all the lecture will be streamed live on YouTube, as you are watching one right now. You are really welcome to use the chat to interact during the lectures, to ask your questions, to post some comments if you have. This is just the tiny bit of interactions we can allow. I know it's far from being perfect, but at least we can use the channel to have some kind of interaction. The exercise session will be posted as regular videos on the same YouTube channel. There, if you have questions about the exercises, we would like to recommend you to use the comments that you can put below a video to ask your questions, so that everyone else then see the questions that you may have asked, and so that we share the knowledge between all of us. So the slides, if you want to have the PDF of the slides, and also if you want to know the schedule of the course, everything will be centralized on this web page, which is a GitHub repo, in which I will put every week the PDF and the HTML versions of the slide. I will try to post them at the latest the day before the lesson. So you might find a previous PDF from previous years in the archive of the course. So you can consult them, but if, for example, some of you are printing the slides on paper, please wait for the day before if you really want to be sure that you have the latest version of the slides. Okay. The textbook for the course is the following. So we are, most of the content is based on this book, which is, and the title is Artificial Intelligence, a Modern Approach. We are using the latest version, so the third edition of the book. I really recommend you to have this book. I mean, this is not strictly required. I mean, I think all the content that you need is in the slides that I present, but if you are more comfortable with long textual explanations of the concept that we'll see, this is really a good reference to have. Also, this book includes exercises, and many of which are very similar to the kind of exercises we'll solve together during the exercise sessions, or that you will have to solve during the exam. So this is also a good source of to consult when you want to have more exercises. So some of the lessons also of this course are inspired from another course which is also known as Introduction to Artificial Intelligence, which is given at Berkeley. So the content is really more or less the same as mine. So if you want to have another version of the course, different kind of explanations covering the same concept, this is really also a good course to go to. And also I want to say and give credits. So you will see these kind of cartoons in many of my slides. So I did not do them. They were all made originally for this course for Berkeley. Okay. In terms of projects, so you will have in total 4 projects. The first one will be a reading assignment. So basically I will give you a scientific paper on artificial intelligence. So the actual paper will be announced later. And your goal, your mission will be to read this paper and to understand the concept that are explained there. So this is maybe not something you've done before, but I think it's a really good exercise. And I will try to select a paper which is relevant, of course, with respect to what we see during the lectures. You will not have to summarize or write something about the paper, but you will have some questions during the exam about that paper. usually these questions will be part of the like a multiple choice questions. In terms of projects, you will have 3 of them, and they will be all related to the same game, which is the game of Pac-Man. And your goal basically will be to implement an artificial agent which will be controlling Pac-Man such that it plays as well as possible. Okay, so this project will be divided into 3 parts of increasing levels of difficulty. And so we'll start easy. For example, we'll not put any ghost in the maze, and your goal will simply be to control Pac-Man such that it eats all the food dots as fast as possible, and then we'll make things more and more complicated. So for example, in the second part of the project, then we'll add the ghost, so you will have to learn how to avoid them. And finally, in the third part of the project, since ghosts are ghosts, you will not longer be able to see them, but still you will be able to more or less locate where they are with some level of uncertainty, and then you will have to take that into account to move into the maze. But more details about the projects will be given later. So this programming project will be done in Python. So you may not be that familiar or not familiar at all with this programming language. Don't worry. Will not require you to have a very deep knowledge of the language. Everything will be made easy. We will provide a lot of boilerplate code, and you will just have to fill in some functions and so on. And really the focus will be on the implementation of the AI algorithms and not on the Python programming language. But still, we will give you some tutorials and pointers to get you started with the language. For the evaluation, so you will have a written exam, and this written exam will account for 60% of the total grade. And so this exam typically include questions like short multiple choice questions that broadly cover your knowledge of the entire course, and then exercises including or not some part of theory, which would be similar to the kind of exercises that we do not in class, but that Antoine will do with you. Then the projects will account for 40% of the grade. The first one will count for 10% because it's easy and short. The second one for 15%, and the third one for 15% as well. So you have to submit the project if you want to present the exam. Okay, but again, details will be announced later regarding the projects. Okay, so if you have questions about the organization,